Hollyoaks December twist. Frankie Osborne faces terrifying anonymous threats, a 2,000-word deep dive rewrite. As the winter nights draw in and December approaches, Hollyoaks gears up for one of its most suspenseful storylines of the year. At the center of this chilling arc stands Frankie Osborne, who finds her world unraveling when a series of sinister, anonymous messages begin targeting her. What starts as unsettling harassment quickly evolves into a frightening mystery, one that forces Frankie to confront her past, re-evaluate every relationship around her, and question whether she is truly safe. This December storyline does more than simply introduce a new threat. It digs deep into Frankie's emotional history, her complicated family ties, and the dangerous people who have recently entered her life. As the tension escalates, viewers are left wondering, who is tormenting Frankie? Why are they targeting her? And how far will this stalker go? Heartbreak. Frankie's vulnerable state, a perfect setup for danger. Frankie Osborne has already been navigating a difficult emotional landscape long before the anonymous messages begin. Her life recently took an unexpected turn when she started developing feelings for Sully, a police officer whose charm initially won her over. On the surface, Sully seems like the perfect partner, stable, protective, and trustworthy. But viewers know the truth. There is something darker lurking beneath his uniformed exterior. His intentions toward Frankie have never been as pure as she believes. Adding to her distress, Frankie was forced to confront a traumatic chapter of her past when she received a visiting order from her abusive twin brother, JJ. Their relationship was fractured, stained by years of emotional and psychological torment. Frankie refused the request, determined not to let him re-enter her life. But even with that decision, she was not prepared for what came next. The Osborne family received devastating news. JJ had been attacked in prison and died from his injuries. The news left the entire family in turmoil. Grief, guilt, anger, and confusion all clashed as they attempted to process his sudden death. Frankie, despite everything, felt the familiar sting of unresolved emotions that only siblings can share, no matter how strained the relationship. As December arrives, Frankie is already emotionally exhausted. And it is in this vulnerable state that her stalker strikes. Cell phone. The harassment begins, and it comes from a familiar name. Frankie's nightmare begins when she receives messages from an account using the name she least expected to see again, JJ. At first, she cannot believe what she is seeing. Logic tells her that JJ is gone, that it is impossible for him to be contacting her. Yet the messages feel personal, taunting, and eerily intimate. Whoever is sending them seems to know details about her that only someone close to her would know. The idea that someone is impersonating her deceased brother hits Frankie hard. It feels cruel, calculated, and designed to break her emotionally. And despite trying to stay calm, the fear begins to gnaw at her. She realizes this is not a prank, it is harassment. And whoever is behind it is determined to push her to the breaking point. Fearful things escalate. A mysterious figure in the park. The messages become more frequent and more threatening, and soon Frankie is unable to ignore the danger. The unease creeps into her daily life, making her hyper-aware of her surroundings. One night, Frankie and her friend Vicky Grant are walking through the park when they both feel it, the chilling sense that someone is watching them. Shadows shift, leaves crackle, and a hooded figure lingers at a distance. Determined not to be victims, Frankie and Vicky confront the stranger. In a tense moment, they manage to get close enough to pull back the hood, revealing Lucas Hay. Lucas, caught red-handed in the shadows, appears nervous and defensive. His explanation is vague at best. Frankie and Vicky don't know what to think. Was he watching them, or was he simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Lucas's phone exposes a disturbing pattern. Still suspicious, Frankie and Vicky decide to dig deeper. They search Lucas's phone, desperate for any clue that might explain his presence. What they find shocks them. A relentless stream of messages directed at Dylan Ray, Lucas's ex-boyfriend. The messages are intense, emotional, and bordering on obsessive. This discovery leads Frankie and Vicky to a dangerous assumption. If Lucas is capable of bombarding Dylan with a barrage of unsolicited texts, could he also be responsible for terrorizing Frankie? Their suspicions begin to solidify, and Frankie wonders whether she has come face to face with her stalker. But the truth, as Hollyoaks fans know all too well, is rarely that simple. Speaking head Frankie finally reaches out, confiding in Dodger Savage. The threats continue, leaving Frankie drained and terrified. She realizes she can no longer carry this burden alone. In search of guidance, she turns to Dodger Savage, someone she trusts. Opening up about the messages is difficult, but Frankie finds the courage to explain everything. The impersonation of JJ, the threats, the the figure in the park, and her growing paranoia. Dodger listens closely, and while he reassures her, one detail raises immediate concern. Frankie is still seeing Sully. To Dodger, this is a red flag. Something about Sully has never sat right with him. His instincts tell him that Sully might not be the protector he claims to be, and Dodger gently questions whether this relationship is truly in Frankie's best interest. Although Frankie dismisses the suggestion at first, the seed of doubt is planted. Cocktail a night out takes an unexpected turn. Hoping to lift Frankie's spirits, Vicky takes her out to the loft for a drink. Frankie attempts to relax and forget her worries, but Vicky quickly becomes distracted by the club's DJ. Left on her own, Frankie feels isolated, a perfect moment for anxiety to creep back in. But before she can spiral, Charlie Dean, Vicky's brother and one of Frankie's closest friends, shows up to check on her. Sensing that Frankie isn't in the right headspace to stay in the noisy club, the two decide to leave for a quieter, more comforting option: pizza. The simple gesture feels grounding, and Frankie finds herself contemplating whether to confide in Charlie about the torment she has been facing. Magnifying glass, what happens next? Will Frankie catch her stalker? As this gripping storyline moves forward, several urgent questions hang in the air. Will Frankie finally open up to Charlie and reveal everything? Is Lucas truly responsible for the harassment, or is he just another red herring? Could the stalker be someone far closer to Frankie, someone she trusts? Is Sully involved, and if so, how dangerous is he really? Will Frankie uncover the truth before the threats escalate further? With December set to be a month of twists, revelations, and emotional turmoil, Hollyoaks fans are bracing themselves for a storyline that promises suspense, heartbreak, and shocking truths. Glowing star final thoughts. Frankie Osborne's December arc is shaping up to be one of the most intense storylines Hollyoaks has delivered this year. It taps into themes of trauma, trust, manipulation, and the lingering shadows of the past. As Frankie hunts for the person tormenting her, viewers will be taken on a roller coaster of suspense and emotional depth. Hollyoaks is known for its ability to weave complex narratives with high-stakes drama, and this storyline proves once again why it remains a fan-favorite soap. With threats coming from all sides and countless secrets waiting to be uncovered, the real question remains: